grandma has this dress.
No, neither.
I feel like Harry Potter. Too librarian. Too Bono?
No.
No. No. Big no.
Yes.
I look a little bit like a bumblebee. How long you been in these parts?
Blah, if sadness had a color. I bought this? Your Honor, I object.
No. This is so much like my dad.
That is the ticket.
Support for KQED Live comes from Berkeley Rep.
Support for KQED comes from the Asian Art Museum. Visitors can step into an experience like no other at TeamLab Continuity and become part of a wondrous ecosystem of lush natural imagery that dynamically evolves around them. For more information and ticket reservations, visit asianart.org.
The disproportionate impact of
more than half of Black business owners
and disproportionate.
Somehow we always find a way to rise.
To the blueprint builders, to the backbones of every block, for the curators of the culture, and for generations to follow. You might fall, but never fail. Keep rising. Keep rising. Keep rising. Apply for business, marketing, and tech makeovers on us.
So glad I'm flying out of Oakland today. Let's count the reasons why. For one, flying locally reduces my carbon footprint. Plus, my airport supports over 17,000 jobs in the East Bay. And it makes sense. The more I fly from OAK, the more flights airlines will add out of OAK. All good.
No matter where you live in the Bay Area, there are many great reasons to pick OAK and fly the East Bay way. What you do with that extra hour is up to you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eric Lewis. I'm a member of KQED's Community Advisory Panel. We are a group who provide support, give feedback to, and engage KQED in community building. I want to start with a land acknowledgement. KQED headquarters is located on Ramaytush, Ohlone occupied lands. We want to recognize that we work and live in the greater Ohlone lands of the Bay Area. I'm delighted to welcome you to KQED Live from the Commons here at our newly renovated headquarters in San Francisco's Mission neighborhood. KQED Live is a multi-platform live event series dedicated to bringing journalism to life on stage, amplifying local culture, and building community. We are thrilled to be presenting Victor Aguilera, a dynamic young gourmet entrepreneur whose delivery service, Arepas and Bici, launched in April 2020 in the midst of the COVID pandemic. This event is part of KQED En Espanol's Herencia series, which fuses cooking, storytelling, and intergenerational conversation to showcase the cultural meaning and family inheritance behind distinctive dishes created by Bay Area chefs and proprietors of small local food businesses. And it's on nights like tonight that we make KQED's mission to inform, inspire, and involve tangible through dialogue with civic leaders and community members, through screenings, performances, live storytelling, and more. You can learn more about events like this and get tickets at kqed.org/live. We want to thank the season sponsors that make KQED Live possible: the Asian Art Museum, Berkeley Rep, Comcast Business, and Oakland International Airport. We are so grateful for their commitment to supporting our mission of civic and cultural engagement in the Bay Area. We also want to thank food bloggers Darian Frazier at Bay Area Foods, Stephanie No at stephanie.knows.food, and Alejandra Gonzalez at Miss Foodie Bay Area for getting the word out about this show. Please follow them at their Instagram handles. And I want to thank all of you for being among the first members of the public to bring this space to life and for staying committed to the value of gathering. Now, it's my great pleasure to give the stage to KQED En Espanol reporter Carlos Cabrera-Lomeli.
Thank you. Hello, hello, mi gente. Buenas tardes. Hello. It is so good to see y'all. For longtime Herencia fans, this is our first in-person show, so it makes me so happy to see everyone here. As was mentioned, I am Carlos Cabrera-Lomeli, reporter and producer with KQED News and KQED En Espanol. I will be your host this evening, and as a reminder, this show is fully bilingual. Este programa es completamente bilingüe, so everything I say, I will be later repeating it in Spanish. Todo lo que diga ahorita lo voy a repetir luego en español. Our guest tonight is Victor Aguilera, chef and creator of Arepas en Bici, an online takeout and delivery service for arepas and Venezuelan food. Victor has been featured in places like As of Eater, As of Gate, 7x7 Magazine, KTVU, Telemundo Bay Area, and Good Morning America. Most recently, he was a contestant in the Food Network's Chopped. The mission of Arepas en Bici, to share a little piece of Victor's love for Venezuela, its culture, and its cuisine with the Bay Area during the pandemic. As a self-taught, highly skilled chef, Victor has worked to combine his two passions, cycling and cooking, to create an independent and environmentally friendly Venezuelan food delivery service. Each one of you received a box of goodies upon entrance. Please keep them closed until we tell you to open them. I know it smells good, pero les pido que se aguanten. Y ahorita cambio tantito en español. Como dije en inglés, soy Carlos Cabrera-Lomeli, reportero y productor con el noticiero de KQED y KQED en Español, también conocido como KQED. Yo seré su anfitrión esta noche y toda la presentación será bilingüe. Vamos a cambiar entre el inglés, el español y hasta el Spanglish. Entonces, por favor, siéntanse cómodos hablando en cualquier idioma que ustedes prefieran. Hoy vamos a conocer a Victor Aguilera, dueño y creador de Arepas en Bici, un servicio virtual de entrega de comida venezolana que opera a lo largo del área de la bahía. Ya ha recibido cobertura en lugares como las revistas SF Eater, 7x7, las publicaciones de SF Gates, los noticieros de KTVU, Telemundo Área de la Bahía y Good Morning America. Recientemente fue un concursante en el programa Chopped de la cadena Food Network. ¿Y cuál es el propósito de Arepas en Bici? Bueno, pues compartir un poco del amor que tiene Víctor por su natal Venezuela, su cultura y su comida aquí en el área de la Bahía a lo largo de la pandemia. Como un chef talentoso y entrenado por su propia cuenta, Víctor se ha enfocado en combinar sus dos pasiones. 1, el ciclismo, y 2, la cocina, para crear un servicio de entrega de comida venezolana independiente y ecológico. Cada uno de ustedes recibió una cajita al entrar y pues por ahora les pido que la mantengan cerrados hasta que nosotros les demos la indicación. Pero por ahora, for now, please give a round of applause for Victor Aguilera. Over here. Yes, den un aplauso tremendo para Victor Aguilera, que aquí viene en su bicicleta, que ahí va, on his bike, the one and only. Victor, how are you doing? ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, gracias por tenerme.
No, gracias a ti.
Hola, gracias.
Hola, Victor, ¿cómo ves a tu público? How do you see this crowd?
Very, very proud, very honored to be here. Hermoso.
Hermosos, yeah,
Sí.
yeah, no, we're super excited to have you here. Estamos súper emocionados. Pues hace unas semanas, a few weeks ago, Victor allowed us into his workspace. So my co-producers, Joanna and Samaya, we both went to, and myself, we went to visit him and see how he, his creative process. And he also allowed me to follow him on his bike to record a bit, see how I fared against, the pro like him. Y bueno, hace unas semanas ahí nos invitó a su cocina y pues pudimos grabar, entender un poco cómo preparas ahí, cómo es su proceso creativo. Y hasta pues, lo seguí en su bicicleta, él en la suya, yo en la mía. Y pues pensé que iba a poder mantener, pero pues estuvo un poquito complicado. But this guy, he moves through the hills of San Francisco like a pro. And we were able to record a bit. So, you mind if we give the stage a bit to the video so the audience gets to see?
Yeah,
So, bueno, vamos a demostrar un poco un video y ahorita regresamos. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Victor Aguilera, chef and owner of Arepas en Bici. Welcome in. Ride my bike around San Francisco. I really feel free. I would say bicycles saved my life. It was really a hobby that really took me out of doing really bad things that I was doing back then. But since I moved to San Francisco, I've noticed that there wasn't really Venezuelan food, and the pandemic gave me enough time because I never really had the financial time to just stop working and focus on my dream. So I got my business started right after the pandemic, got laid off for about a month, sort of started feeling a little lost and started putting together an Instagram page. My fiance made a menu for me and I started promoting arepas and Venezuelan food, like side dishes como tequeños y empanadas y otras cositas también. So why arepas? I've been making arepas since I was 4. I'm originally from Venezuela. I was born in Valencia. I lived there till I was about 12 years old. Whenever I invited anybody over, either friends or girls over, one of the things I would cook as an introduction would be the arepa. Arepas is Venezuela's main dish. Para los venezolanos no se consiguen muchas de estas cosas aquí. So, se siente muy bien dejar que la gente se sienta cerca a la casa con los productos de uno. Estoy aprendiendo a cómo ejercer mi nacionalidad y mi background en unas maneras que sí se ha visto, pero en maneras, pero con mi twist.
Victor, siéntate por favor, pero, well, that was...
Gracias.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a sneak peek into, into Victor's kitchen y pues how, you know, the cycling, and we had to strap a GoPro into my bike so we could follow along. And we were like going down Market Street, y pues, have you ever cycled down Market Street? Es una locura. It's just like people, cars, trucks jumping out of nowhere. Pero creo que lo hicimos bien, ¿no?
Yeah, we even had a crazy encounter, and that was fun.
No, bueno, de todo colorido, everything. Pero, oye, Victor, how do you do it? You know, when you bike with no hands and the arepas in the back.
Sabes, ya estoy bien cómodo manejando mi bicicleta por San Francisco. De verdad que me siento que he dominado las calles. Y toda la experiencia que he tenido durante estos 10, casi 12 años que estoy manejando bicicleta, me siento muy como en mi zona cuando estoy llevando deliveries o cuando estoy solo manejando por my hobby.
Right. You just get in your zone and you're off, right?
Yep.
Exactly. Wow. And, you know, so the way you handle la masa, the flour, is like you've been doing this forever. Who taught you how to make arepas?
Mis abuelas. Empecé a hacer arepas desde que era pequeño. Como vieron en la historia, estaba haciendo arepas desde que tenía 4 años. Y honestamente es el pan de Venezuela y siempre he ejercido eso hasta ahorita. Solo que ahora me salen mejor porque antes me quedaban muy chunky.
No, ¿cómo así? No, that's the protein right there. But who are the people that taught you? ¿Quién eran las personas que te enseñaron? O sea, padres, abuelitas, o quién era?
Mi abuela, mi mamá, ellos fueron los primeros que no solo me enseñaron a hacer arepas, pero los primeros que vi haciendo la mayor parte de los platos que hago hoy en día.
Okay. Yeah, so your grandmothers were part of that.
Sí.
Yeah. And do you still, talk to, your grandmother about recipes? ¿Hablas con tu abuela sobre recetas, sobre cómo haces las arepas ahorita?
Hablamos casi todos los días. Antes no teníamos la facilidad que teníamos antes, ahora tenemos WhatsApp. Eso me da la oportunidad de verdad hablar con ella y me manda recetas de su libro que puedes ver. Ha sido typeado en las máquinas no sé cómo se dice.
Typing machines.
A typewriter.
Yeah.
So están bien viejas. Y con mis experiencias les cambio las formas de hacerla con mi propio twist.
Right. And I mean, I can imagine, o sea, writing on a typewriter, super hard. Escribir una máquina de escribir es, o sea, súper difícil, pero pues si una abuela lo hace, if a grandmother does it, it's because it's out of love.
Sí. Y he tenido esas recetas hace mucho tiempo. Es un honor poder hacerlas y compartirlas con ustedes hoy en día.
Yeah. Y bueno, cuéntame un poquito ahí de algunas de las recetas que tienes. Tell me a little bit about the recipes, some of the more traditional, some of the more new ones. You don't have to go through the whole menu, but, what pops to mind? What are the ones that are on your mind right now?
Las arepas que yo hago son bien tradicionales. Sí, me gusta ejercerlas depending of the season. I will change it up a little bit. Like I like to do this beet masa arepa, where I puree the beet, and I add it to the arepa, and it makes it either yellow or pink. I like to do the pink one during like Valentine's or during Cancer Awareness Month. And then depending on the filling, I really try to use protein that's farm fresh and really focus on what ingredients are on our local farmers and really try something more exciting in order to keep the menu not only the same but also make it more exciting for each time have something new and not always just get something old.
Exactly, and adapt it
correct.
To San Francisco. No, I mean, if someone gave me a pink arepa on Valentine's, that's the way to my heart. So, o sea, una arepa rosita para Valentín, ya saben cómo conquistarme. Y bueno, ahora vayamos al tema ahí sobre, preparar arepa, making arepa, and you're making an arepa in San Francisco, hundreds of miles away from Venezuela, where you grew up. do you feel that when you make an arepa, it reconnects you to those memories, to the place you left? O sea, ahí cuando haces una arepa, te ayuda a reconectar a ese lugar, esas memorias que dejaste ahorita pues tan lejos de Venezuela.
Sí me trae mucha nostalgia. Me acuerda muchas cosas. Y tener la oportunidad de traerlas hoy en día y ejercerlas, ¿sabes? Cuando llegué a San Francisco no conseguí, yo me crié cuando llegué a Estados Unidos, está en la Florida. En la Florida hay más de una comunidad venezolana, pero cuando llegué aquí a San Francisco no tenía la misma oportunidad de probar mi propia comida. Nunca tuve el tiempo para de verdad ejercer o los conocimientos para empezar un negocio. Y cuando tuve esta oportunidad de hacer la comida venezolana y tener tanto support y que a la gente de verdad le encante, me trajo un diferente mundo. Y ahora ya tenemos casi 2 años haciendo arepas en Bici y estoy esperando que el año que viene ya tengamos de verdad un lugar fijo, porque este año ha sido muy
de transformación, everywhere,
sí,
right?
Sí, yeah. everywhere. Pero sí me quiero enfocar en lo que es arepas en Bici.
Yeah. And I mean, hay algo que mencionaste, something you mentioned, which is that here in the Bay Area, you know, the Venezuelan community it's small, but it's present. Es chiquita, pero está presente. Y cada vez que conozco a una persona venezolana, every time I meet a Venezuelan person, they, you know, doesn't matter whether they live in Santa Rosa, Oakland, Richmond, Vallejo, they know Victor. Like ya conocen a Victor sin importar en dónde estén. Y pues, y yo creo, y pues les pregunto, y pues para ellos aprecian tanto, they appreciate so much what you do because it's, you know, you're one of the few places where they can get, you know, something that reminds you of home. So how does it make you feel? ¿Cómo te sientes that you can provide something to your community so far and it's, you know, something they appreciate, que algo tan importante para ellos que aprecian?
It's very, I'm very proud of it. I feel a really big pride inside of me. I have guests that has come from Napa, Santa Rosa, Sacramento. I have friends that have flown from Florida or other states, and the first thing they do is like hit me up, trying to support my business in any way that they can.
Yeah.
And not only that, but really try my food. I feel very honored to really represent not only my food, but Venezuela. And it feels, I can't wait to really just bring more to the table, not only for me, but for everybody, to have the accessibility to have this whenever you want it, and not whenever I can.
Okay.
So that's definitely a big goal.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
De que poder dar acceso ahí a los que lo buscan. And what about, you know, it's been, you mentioned that you came to the U.S. when you were, pues cuando eras un joven, when you were a youth. But since then, what's something that you still carry with you from Venezuela? ¿Qué es algo que tú llevas contigo desde Venezuela? ¿Una memoria, una idea, un sentimiento?
Sí, el espíritu trabajador y mi llano, ¿sabes? Yo me crié, mis padres, mi abuelo, me criaron en fincas, me llevaban de paseos. De verdad que conocí mucho de mi país antes de dejarlo y nunca lo voy a dejar.
Yeah. No, and yes, you know, that sense of like, you know, it's hardworking. I mean, you got it, man. I mean, you're out here, you know, working, you know, nonstop for, you know, for how many hours it takes you to make arepas, and then you just, you know, you don't hop on a car, you go on a bike to go on how many hills. So tienes todo ese espíritu ahí así de amor por el trabajo vive en ti.
Sí, sí. Yeah. Y me encanta. No me canso.
Y bueno, cuéntanos cómo fue ahí, pues se fue desarrollando tu profesión como chef. Así, ¿qué hacías antes de este proyecto de Arepas en Bici. So what were you tell us a bit about how the journey for you to become a chef, and what were you up to before Arepas en Bici?
Ya yo tengo cocinando 14 años. Empecé a cocinar en la Florida, en un restaurante japonés. De ahí me moví en muchos, en todas las estaciones. De verdad que aprendí todo bien rápido, y hasta en mis días libres le pedí al chef, hey, ¿puedo venir a aprender a hacer sushi? Y de repente ya me había puesto en el schedule para hacer sushi. So, de ahí de verdad que empezó mi pasión con la comida. 2 años después empecé a ir a la escuela culinaria. Me gradué 2 años después. Fui a un technical center solo porque quería un degree. Y el resto de verdad que lo he aprendido en todos los trabajos y he agarrado mucha experiencia durante ese tiempo. Pero sí puedo decir algo. De la Florida, cuando me mudé aquí en San Francisco, el nivel culinario mío ha crecido tanto que yo nunca pude creer que podía haber llegado a este nivel. Cuando estaba en la Florida ya creía que sabía todo. Y llego aquí y conozco tantos chefs con tanta experiencia y aplicaciones que me dan la facilidad para trabajar en otros diferentes lugares, que crecí bastante, donde ahora puedo agarrar esa experiencia y de verdad mejorar la comida que estoy haciendo y también dejarla ser tradicional, pero con un poquito mejor.
Claro. Y so, starting off in cooking in Florida, it was you at the sushi restaurant, and you just took off, and you've been being in San Francisco. Do you feel that it's giving you challenges as a chef? I mean, and that you've been growing since then?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
When we arrived, when me and my fiance arrived here, it was a lot of work, a lot of work. I got the opportunity to work in a lot of places, and yeah, it was just it's a whole different level.
Right. Right, and I mean the hustle and the competition and everything.
And it gave me the I have this Arepas en Bici idea for a long time, but it really gave me the opportunity to sort of like learn and make mistakes before I could really go and reach for it.
Right, that makes sense. And when you were considering the project of Arepas en Bici, cuando estabas considerando el proyecto de Arepas en Bici, I mean, obviously the bicycle part is a crucial element. El elemento de la bicicleta es algo crucial, es algo crítico.
Yeah.
¿Por qué es tan importante la bicicleta? Why is it so important? Do you feel it gives you independence? ¿Te sientes que te da independencia? ¿Cuál fue tu proceso para llegar a eso?
Sabes, creo que fue en 2018 donde un día estaba trabajando por Pinterest and the Academy of Art University y me estaba cansado de trabajar por una compañía y no ganar suficiente. So llegué a mi casa como a las 8 de la noche, preparé 25 arepas y las vendí la misma noche en 1 hora en diferentes barras. Y llegué a la casa de regreso y le digo a Stacy, that's my fiance's name, okay, vamos a vender arepas, ya es lo que quiero hacer. Y, ¿sabes? En esas ventas agarré la oportunidad de ser executive chef for a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
Cuando me dieron la oportunidad, yo dije, bueno, ahora puedo hacer errores con el dinero de otro. I can make mistakes now with somebody else's money and focus on and really learn how to like run a business. So ever since then, I had to put a pause on Arepas en Bici. Why I involved the Bici part, the cycling part on it, not only was I trying to go for something very eco-friendly, but something that was very easy to move around the city. You try to drive around the city, you either have to worry about parking or moving your car, getting towed, getting your car broken into. There's so many things that can happen to your car. With my bike, I can just put it on my bike, no matter how many floors, if I have to go upstairs or down or any hill. You know, there's always the downhill right after, so it's always that fun part. And the beginning was very challenging, but I was very happy because I was able to join two of my passions together. You know, I've been riding bikes for since I was a kid, obviously, but I'd like to say professionally for maybe 8 years. I play on this sport called bike polo. It's like hockey on bicycles. Got to play on the World Championship in 2013. I raced for Red Bull. I've done a couple Red Bull velodrome races. I've done the Red Bull Bay Climb, and I've done they're called alley cat races, which is they're more like street based, and we do a lot of them are for really good causes, but they're on a whole different level, and from that it kind of made sense.
Yeah. Right. No, and then you can eat all the arepas you wanted.
Correct.
Puedes comer todas las arepas que quieres.
Y los tequeños.
Y los tequeños, claro. All the tequeños you wanted. Bueno, okay. All right, Victor. Mira, and now we're going to make sure the audience was listening. Vamos a asegurarnos que la audiencia estaba poniendo atención. So, a little bit of a pop quiz, hay una prueba sorpresa. Vamos a ver. So, there are yes or no answers. So, raise your hand if your answer is yes to the questions, all right? So, they're going to be pretty chill. Victor me va a estar ayudando, making sure that the answers are correct y pues explaining, you know, why the answer is right, explicando por qué la respuesta está correcta.
Correcto.
And, all right, so first one. So, before attending this event, antes de venir a este evento, did you know what an arepa was? ¿Sabían que era una arepa? Raise your hand if you used yes. Okay, perfect.
That's good.
Yeah, no.
That's really good.
But I feel, you know, that it's the more people know what an arepa is better, right?
Correct.
Right? Has that been? No. But
well, it's my goal to really share what an arepa is, because not only it's really healthy for you and it's a gluten-free option, but it's so simple to make at home that it will be such a simple option for these kids to make. If I could do it when I was 4, other kids could do it too, and really introduce sort of like a new item here, and it can pretty much be a sandwich.
Exactly. No, and make it a staple of, you know, a Bay Area cuisine, like we've seen with other, you know, plates as well.
But please don't call it a sandwich. It's an arepa.
Cuidado. All right. So now we get into the mechanics of an arepa. Okay. So, do you fry the dough after you shape it? Es que ahí frías la masa después de ponerla en su formita. Okay. So yes. Do you fry the dough after you shape it? Raise your hand. If not, keep it down. Si alzan la mano, si creen que hay que freír la masa, después de ahí moldearla. Okay, all right. Víctor, ¿cuál es la respuesta? What's the answer?
La forma correcta es hacer la bolita primero, armarla y después se cocina.
Okay, so mold it first.
Ajá. Y un consejo cuando hagan la harina, el agua va primero. The water goes first whenever you make the masa.
Right. And now let's go into the masa itself. So, raise your hand, all right? If you think the answer is yes. Is the main ingredient of the masa, of the dough, wheat flour? Okay, un momentito. We'll give people a couple minutes to see if they change their mind. All right. So, Víctor, ¿cuál es la respuesta? What's the answer?
Corn masa, maíz blanco y precocinado. La más popular es la harina pan. Y yo sé que no se consigue en todos lados. Sí se puede usar masa para hacer tacos, pero no vas a sentir el mismo sabor. Sí recomiendo maíz blanco precocinado para hacer arepas, no wheat flour. Y no cornmeal. A lot of people use cornmeal. It is not cornmeal. If you ever do get the cornmeal, you can grind the cornmeal to a powder, mix it with a little regular AP flour, and you'll get sort of the same dough consistency, but it won't taste the same.
You know, and if folks, you know, want to find, you know, are looking for masa pan, you know, flour with brand pan, sometimes it's a little hard. So, you know, how have you been doing it to find all the ingredients you need? ¿Cómo le haces para encontrar todos los ingredientes que necesitas?
Como dije temprano, me gusta mucho ir al mercado y tratar de conseguir mis propios ingredientes. Con la harina pan sí se hace un poco difícil conseguirla aquí en San Francisco. It's really hard to find masa here in San Francisco. And there's not a lot of stores that will carry it. And when they do run out pretty quickly. So for a long time, I started ordering online. The shipping was crazy because of the weight. And then I started finding companies like in San Jose. So we will go drive down to San Jose and pick it up down there. Now I've sort of like built a really good relationship with a supermarket down here, and I totally recommend it, called Guadalupe, La Casa de Guadalupe. They're right on Mission Street on 25th. And all their Spanish goods are, you know, something that you want to find all the time.
Right, no, I voy a comprar tortillas, so that's where I go buy tortillas myself.
So you know what I'm talking about.
A ver si nos topamos un día. We won't into each other. All right, so now last question is, were you impressed by Victor's cycling skills? ¿Te impresionaste por las habilidades en la bicicleta de Víctor?
Thank you.
No, pues todo. I was impressed too. I mean, pero pues, Victor, ¿cómo le haces? I mean, you were just like, you know, like, how, ni te asustan las colinas de San Francisco.
No, and you know, I don't ride a regular bike. I ride a fixed gear. It has no brakes, and and I'm clipped in. For those who don't know what a fixed gear is, it's a bicycle that has a, you know how usually you ride a bike and you can just sort of like stop pedaling and continue to ride? With this one, you have to always pedal. And if you stop pedaling, your pedals will launch you off the bike. Once you get used to it and build like sort of a muscle, like you're able to stop it with your own strength. But you don't really have a complete brake. You sort of like skid. I feel very comfortable. It took a long time to get used to this type of bike, but it just makes, I feel more comfortable with that type of bike than with a regular freewheel. And then when it came to hills, it was mainly finding the right gear ratio where I could still get where I needed to go and work as hard as I could to really build the strength to get around San Francisco. When I first arrived, my first week, my feet were purple. I remember my first day in San Francisco, I went, got a job. The second day, I started heading to it, and I had to head down Russian Hill. In Russian Hill, my chain broke, and I was just going nonstop. Like I was just. Lucky for me, I had all the green lights. I just took the momentum and tried to get as close as I could to my job. The same day, I was able to get off early enough to sort of like fix my bike. But a month later, my bike broke again because it wasn't ready for San Francisco hills. It really took a whole process to get used to these hills, but now it's I like to say a piece of cake.
Right.
But some hills are still a challenge.
Right, como pez en el agua. All right. So, I think that yo diría que la audiencia did a good job. I'd say the audience did a good job, right, Victor?
Yeah.
All right, no, please, a round of applause por nuestra audiencia. So, now let's turn a bit to, you know, the beautiful things that we have in front of us. Ahí las cajitas, the boxes. Okay, don't open them yet. I want to build a suspense. Vamos a armar el suspenso. Okay, Victor, want to tell us a bit about what you prepared for us tonight?
Yes, of course. Today in front of you, you have something very special. This is one of those dishes that really make me feel close to home, and it's a traditional dish in Venezuela. It's called an hallaca, and when you look at it, it's going to look like a tamal in a plantain leaf, but it's not a tamal. It's fully loaded. For the ones that got the traditional one, it's filled with chicken, beef, and pork, and it's got European backgrounds as well as African and South American really mixed in together. So you'll find a bunch of savory and sweetness to it. For other guests, I've created a vegan option, and it will taste just like it. I really hope you enjoy this dish.
Yes, eso, but not yet. Espérense tantito. And I think that's spot on what you mentioned, that it's, in a way, it's a reflection of the history of the cuisine. Es una historia de la cocina de Latinoamérica, de Venezuela, of Latin America and Venezuela, because you see three cultures come together in one dish. Ves a tres culturas unirse en un solo platillo. Ves ahí a las culturas indígenas representadas por el maíz. You see, maíz, which, indigenous to the Americas and harvested and protected by the native people of the continent. You see beef and pork, animals brought in by European settlers. Ves ahí a las carnes de puerco y res que fueron traídos por los colonizadores europeos. And then spices brought in by the enslaved African people. Ves ahí las especies que compartidas ahí por las personas africanas que ahí fueron esclavizadas, ahí y todo en un platillo, all brought together in one plate. And we also see, similar combinations across Latin America. Vemos combinaciones similares a lo largo de Latinoamérica, pero las hallacas tienen un contexto muy específico. Hallacas have a very specific context, right, Victor? They're served in a very, during a specific time of the year.
Usualmente en Navidades, en Año Nuevo, para todo el mes de diciembre. Recientemente, we've had the opportunity to really expand all over the world and acquire more reasons to celebrate, early, and the traditions are starting to sort of split through the year.
Yeah.
It is nice to have pan de jamón and hallacas for Thanksgiving and even for Independence Day in Venezuela to sort of like bring, which is like during June.
Yeah.
So it feels, it's it can be done anywhere, but it really feels more of like a holiday food.
Right. And tell us a bit, how is, besides an hallaca, you mentioned a little bit pan de jamón. Also, what's the holidays usually like in Venezuela? ¿Cómo es la época navideña de las fiestas sembrinas en Venezuela? La gaita, I'm sure you can't forget la gaita, gaita, the music.
Sí, de verdad que extraño el espíritu navideño en Venezuela. Cuando yo me fui a Venezuela, las cosas estaban muy bien. So, de lo que yo me acuerdo muchas navidades con muchas luces, muchos fireworks, raspa. We have like the craziest names for fireworks. For those that speak Spanish, we have one that called Tumba Rancho, Matasuegra. So really crazy Christmas over there. And the best part is the food. We have the hallacas, the pan de jamón, pernil, asado negro, which I'm gonna start doing pretty soon. And it's and then you wake up the next day and still have some left over, and then you grab the leftover and make arepas and fill them up with.
Perfect. Pero cuidado con la suegra. I'm careful with the. No vayan na. Okay. And so now, I mean, do you? Now that we're in this, it's the first day of December. Looking ahead for the month, do you have in mind any, how you want to celebrate, what some of those traditions in your home?
Yeah.
¿Cómo vas a celebrar en tu casa ya que estamos llegando a diciembre?
Sí, no voy a celebrar en la casa, voy a trabajar. Pero sí quiero hacer unos platos especiales este año. El año pasado introduje las hallacas y pan de jamón a San Francisco. SF Eater hizo un artículo sobre eso. Tenía una amiga que estaba haciendo ponche y también estábamos haciendo marquesas, que es un postre venezolano. Este año voy a hacer asado negro, voy a hacer el pernil. Quiero hacer un plato navideño con hallacas, pernil y ensalada de gallina que trae papas. So I'm trying to do a holiday plates that have a pernil, which is braised pork, asado negro, which is a black roast that has sort of the similar flavors of the hallaca, but sweeter. So good, and and with a side of ensalada de gallina, which is a chicken and potato salad with an hallaca on the side. So I'm trying to. That's my goal to do for this for these holidays, along pan de jamón and hallacas, and also have vegan options. I'm gonna be voy a hacer una hallaca diferente a la que tienen hoy. Va a tener un filling con jackfruit, with the same with a smoked jackfruit with the same background flavor. So it's gonna have the sweetness from the jackfruit and the savory from the guiso.
Victor, ya me estás haciendo agua la boca. I don't know how to translate it in English, but I mean, making me savor already. I mean, you're invited for Christmas at my house anytime, man. So, all right, now we got to the good stuff. We've earned it. Ya llegamos a lo bueno. Okay, so, listo. Okay, so as we open the box, I wanna, I'm gonna read a couple of instructions. So, open them carefully. We will try to use all our senses on this. Con cuidado, abran las cajas. Vamos a usar todos nuestros sentidos. Entonces, primero, esta es una conversación, entonces, por favor, si se sienten inclinados a compartir, ahí, por favor, mi compañera Semaye va a estar caminando ahorita con el micrófono. My co-producer Semaye will be walking around with a microphone, so if you feel inclined to share your comments, your thoughts, questions, please just, look at her, raise your hand, and she'll walk over with the microphone. Okay, so take a deep breath. Before you start, just take a deep breath. Yes. And I smell it all the way here. Hasta lo puedo oler desde acá. And say out loud the first ingredient you smell. El primer ingrediente que puedes oler. A ver, escuchemos. Okay. Okay. I mean, while the microphone is getting ready, I mean, if anyone feels like they have it and wants to, Yes, that's Amaya right there. She has the mic. So if you think you got it, just, motion to her, you raise your hand, look at her, and she can walk over to where you are. Si ya saben ahí cuál es el ingrediente, ahí al oler, alcen sus manos o vean, ya tenemos a alguien. We have somebody over here.
Masa.
¿Tú qué crees, Victor? What do you say?
Usualmente el primer olor que siento cuando abro una hallaca es el steam de la hoja de plátano.
Right, the steam of the banana leaf.
Yeah.
Oof, yes. Okay. Now, using your fork, usando sus tenedores, sus cubiertos, take a small bite of the hallaca. Tomen una pequeña mordida de la hallaca. Y a ver, ¿cuál es la primera cosa? What is the first thing you can taste? La primera cosa que...
So I left the hallaca with the plantain leaf because I really wanted you to get that experience of unwrapping, sort of like a gift. And that's what you do. Usually it comes tied up as well, but I cut that already for you. And it's just, you're usually in for a surprise.
Yeah, no, and they're the lucky ones. They got the hallacas. We didn't. A nosotros nos tocaron las hallacas, a ustedes sí.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Espero que te hayan guardado una.
Después. O si no, ya sé dónde vives. Ya, ay, me aparezca. All right. So, does anyone want to taste, share what they can taste? ¿Quieren compartir lo que pueden probar ahorita? Algo que les resalte, something that pops, jumps out at you. We have somebody up at the front.
Hola, Víctor, felicitaciones por tu propuesta. Yo soy Carlos, soy de Perú. Y me hizo recordar al tamal peruano, con la gran diferencia que tiene un toque dulce y que el sabor no es tan invasivo en la boca, ¿no? Es fresco, o sea, tienes ganas de comer de nuevo y comer de nuevo y comer de nuevo. Y no parar. ¿Hay otro o no?
Eso me alegra mucho porque mi fiancé es peruana. Qué alegría que te haya gustado.
Sí, and so just a quick translation, it's there.
I'd like to hear the difference on the one, because we did mention we have the similarities through South America and Central America.
Through that legacy, and what Carlos, my tocayo, shared just now is that it reminds him a bit of a Peruvian tamale, but with a freshness that invites him to keep eating and taking more bites. Anyone want to share any more, or before we go to the next question? You know what? Oh, we have somebody in the back. Thank you, Carlos.
I just got an olive, and it was really good.
Oh, some olive, olivos.
Can tell everybody's into it.
Yeah, todos están calladitos. Everyone is quiet because they like it. Okay. Savor each bite. O sea, aprovecho.
And those are usually, family sort of thing to do. This one said I had to do by myself this time, and oh my God. Sort of like miss that feeling.
Yeah, because the process, because you just don't eat it with your family, you make it with your family as well.
Correct,
The whole, o sea, sin importar la edad o el género o lo que sea, just regardless of age or gender, the whole family comes together into the kitchen.
Yeah.
Did anyone make hallacas growing up? ¿Hay alguien ahí se crió comiendo hallacas? Ahí, eso sí, atrás. Does this remind you of those memories? Ahí, no sé si quieran compartir.
Víctor, ¿cómo estás? Un gusto. Un gusto saludarte. ¿Cómo estás? De nuevo te felicito por tu iniciativa. He estado siguiéndote hace mucho tiempo y ya tú conoces la trayectoria que tenemos. Sí, me trajo muchos recuerdos de la comida de mi mamá. De hecho, tiene ese sabor. Sí les digo que si pueden guardar un poco, lo calientan, porque caliente siempre va a ser mucho mejor. Pero el sabor está allí y puedo reconocerlo y de verdad que me encantan y vamos a estar esperando el asado negro seguro.
Eso sí.
Gracias.
Yeah. No, gracias. Thank you for sharing that. A ver, yo creo que hay que dejarles un poquitito. Pero...
Hola, Víctor. Mi nombre es Uriel. Yo soy mexicano tradicionalmente y hemos probado tamales de todo tipo, de dulces, de rajas, de puerco, de todo, ¿verdad? Y esto para mí es algo simplemente nuevo y está, la verdad, que buenísimo.
Gracias.
Al 100%. Espero un día visitar tu restaurante.
Muchas gracias. This is very exciting.
Yes. Oh, somebody, I think. Oh, somebody right behind. Yes, right behind you, I think. Right over there? Yes.
Hi, Victor. This is delicious.
Thank you.
And yeah, I like it very much. But I did not choose the vegan one. What is inside the vegan option?
The vegan one has mushrooms. It's got 3 different types of mushrooms. And it's also got the same type of way that I cook the traditional one. With, I can't tell you all the secrets. but it does have pretty much the same process. All I switch is just not throwing the protein. I do cook the sauce for a lot longer, so it creates a consistency because I don't add any cornstarch or any, you know, I think they use like now xanthan gum to like thicken everything. So it's really just a time process where you get all those flavors.
I just wanted to say I really like the combination of the savory and the sweet tastes and flavors. And so how do you make this? I mean, you don't have to give away all the details, but just generally.
So which one do you have, the vegan or the meat one? So the meat one, I have to cut all the meat, the chicken, the pork, and the meat, very, very small dice. And usually they're like large quantities. Then I have to cut the vegetables. I like to use leeks and onions and a miracle. And from there, I sweat all my vegetables. I cook all the vegetables I get the guiso. One of the ingredients that are listed is pamela. That's where you get the sweetness. Pamela is a block of concentrated brown sugar cane, and I just grind it into it becomes into a powder. And then that gets cooked. After it gets cooked, then I assemble my line. My line comes into the guiso, raw onions, raw red peppers. Those are for garnish. I'm sure you like has one. At least everybody has like at least 1 to 2 strips in there. A little shredded chicken on the side that's not cooked with the rest. That's on the as well as a garnish. Olives and raisins. I do like to cook mine with the raisins in it, but I also add a couple more every time I wrap it. Then I have to burn the plantain leaves to make sure that they get nice and soft. Create the masa, create the oil for the masa, make the masa. After that's made, I have to start assembling the hallaca, which is pretty much flattening the masa, filling it up, wrapping it in the plantain leaf, and then after they're all wrapped, tying them up with a
string, no?
Yeah, with a string, and a butcher's twine is what I use. And after that, the process for them, if you can freeze them and keep them for up to 3 months, and if you keep them in a Ziploc bag, they'll last even longer. And then you can just boil it, and you boil it for about an hour, and you pretty much get your hallaca. So it's a pretty long process. It's I think it took me like maybe about 18 hours to do the whole thing, and I made about almost 88 this time.
Wow.
And last year we were making about 200 to 300 a week.
Oof. Oh my. And
huh? What is guiso? Guiso is the
broth?
Pretty much the filling, the chicken, meat, the whole cook, yeah.
Yeah, wow. And that's on top of like the hours, like, for biking and, distribution, everything else.
Yeah, that's not counting going to pick up everything. It's, it's tricky finding the plantain leaves, finding the masa, and then the ingredients. The rest is not so hard, but I do have difficulties finding the olives that I like to find.
Right. Whoa. Wow. And also, I want to open up the space too. If you have questions you want to ask Victor about in general, the Arepas en Bici, the project, o sea, quiero también abrir, o sea, si tienes preguntas para Victor sobre su proyecto, su trabajo, esta es ahí la oportunidad para hacerlo.
Hola Víctor, mi nombre es Cristina, soy mexicana y te quería dar las gracias porque es mi primera vez comer comida venezolana, entonces muchas gracias. Y te quería preguntar, como mexicana yo he hecho muchos tamales y siempre he probado tamales mexicanos y la masa, aunque también es de maíz, sabe tan diferente y tiene como, the texture es tan diferente. Entonces te quería preguntar si sabes por qué son tan diferentes o ¿cuál es la diferencia en el proceso de hacer los tamales o las hallacas?
El tipo de harina es diferente. También hay muchas personas que le agregan fat, un tipo de fat a la masa. Yo al mío, para las hallacas, yo no uso ningún tipo de gordura para evitar, para dar la oportunidad a la gente que no come certain things poder comerla. Yo hago mi propio aceite que le da el color a la masa y eso le da it gives it like a little moist. Pero hay muchas formas de darle a la masa esa suavidad. Yo creo que si empiezas a tratar diferentes harinas, tal vez puedas conseguir un resultado mejor.
And then, I think 2 questions up front. I think I saw this hand first, and then Carlos, we can pass to you.
Victor, what's your next step?
So, for my next step right now, it's a little bit of trying to find a new place to live, and we're trying to figure out if we're gonna stay. The goal is to stay here in the city and find something big enough where I can share the space. I really want to keep doing Arepas en Bici. My whole goal is to really open a brick and mortar. It's been 2 years trying to do that, and these past 2 years I've learned sort of enough to really know where I want it to be. And that's going to be my next step. That, and I really like to compete against Beat Bobby Flay.
Víctor, tenía una pregunta para ti. Un chef, un artista, tiene la parte creativa de un lado, ¿no? Y luego viene la realidad, que es el negocio, o sea, poner las cosas ya en papel o aterrizarlas, ¿no?
Sí.
¿Cómo llegaste de quién aprendiste o cómo hiciste o qué retos tuviste que enfrentar para poner las dos cosas juntas?
Fue bien complicado. Primero, como chef, tú no tienes la oportunidad de aprender mucho lo que es la parte de customer service o la parte de negocios. Bastante lo tuve que aprender por el internet. Muchos consejos también de mi pareja. Y de verdad, tratando de organizar los dos, ha sido un challenge bien grande. Pero no es imposible. Sí, solo es mucho trabajo. Pero cuando toca combinar los dos, te da la oportunidad de verdad tener control de lo que estás haciendo y saber qué está entrando, saliendo, qué hay que cambiar. Todavía me gustaría aprender más lo que es negocios para de verdad crear, cuando ejerza mi brick and mortar, no hacer ningún tipo de error.
Wow. Víctor, viendo tu business, me doy cuenta que es un poco limitado el hecho de que tú cocinas y además eres el delivery también, ¿no? ¿Cómo consideras crecer en ese sentido? O sea, ¿en algún punto te vas a dedicar solo a hacer arepas y que otros salgan a distribuir la arepa? ¿O cómo ves el crecimiento y la expansión de Arepas en Bici? Segunda pregunta, ¿cuándo te vemos más veces en el lado de Oakland o East Bay?
Buena pregunta. Cuando ya tenga negocio, y sí lo voy a tener, mi goal es, con los empleados, es todavía tener la facilidad de bicicletas. No vamos a poder tratar áreas de 5 o 10 millas, pero alcancea, vamos a tener un límite de 1 a 3, y si crecemos más, tal vez ejercemos más lugares. Pero siempre voy a tratar de tener los deliveries vía Bici. Y no solo eso, pero yo sé que va a costar dejar la bicicleta. Yo no puedo estar en la bicicleta todo el tiempo. Ya me ha costado mucho en estos tiempos poder hacerlo todo. Sí voy a necesitar un equipo, no solo en la bicicleta, pero en la cocina también. I'm not only going to need a team of cycling, but I'm also going to need a team in the kitchen. And it's going to be an honor being able to teach everything that I've known and have others create that and really and not only become a business owner, but a teacher. See, one thing that I like to, one of my biggest goals right now, once the business is started, is to follow my, sorry, let me drink some water, please.
Yeah, adelante. I also just want to mention that I think we have time for maybe one more question and then we're going to wrap, pero sorry, Victor.
So I just want to follow my father-in-law's legacy and being able to, once we have the kitchen, teach teens that are mentally able, like autism, to teach them skills in the kitchen. So once they grow as an adult, they have the opportunity to work for different companies as well. I think that's really like one of my biggest things that I would like to follow. Once it comes through, I think everybody deserves a chance.
Wow, that's beautiful. And thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
No, really looking
Hola,
forward to that.
Mi nombre es Geraldine, soy venezolana, estoy muy orgullosa de lo que probé, me trae sabor a Navidad, a Venezuela. Estoy sinceramente muy orgullosa de tu trabajo porque no es fácil y ya después de tanto tiempo de haber salido de Venezuela, traer este sabor a pesar de que ya tienes tanto tiempo aquí es como sentir volver allá y estar aquí. Gracias por tu trabajo y no te detengas.
Gracias. That's pretty much why I keep doing this.
Right. Wow.
Right now I'm doing a pop-ups every Wednesday at Maze. Maze is a bar right on Polk in between Sutter and Bush, and I'm there 6 p.m. into 12 at night, sometimes 1 a.m. Also, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I always say follow me on Instagram because I post different dates when I can do service. Sometimes I do service at home, or if another bar gives me an opportunity, then I do pop-ups. I try to stay as busy as I can. Lately, since this year I won Shop 420, which was infused with cannabis. So it gave me the opportunity to, it opened a whole new door of opportunities for me. And it's been keeping me sort of traveling and doing private dinners for a lot of customers. So I haven't been able to do Arepas and Bici from home as much. So I mainly has been focused on the pop-up and setting up dates. Right now I'm setting up dates for my holiday menu. So everybody gets a chance to get Venezuelan food during the holidays.
Wow, pues hay que agendar eso, hay que programar eso. So make some time for that because it's going to be good. Y bueno, I want to first thank the audience. Quiero agradecerles a ustedes por ahí su paciencia, sus preguntas, your thoughtfulness, your questions. Thank you. And I mean, just round of applause for y'all, please, para la audiencia. And I think that we're about to wrap up. So, but before, I just want to thank the crew up in the booth, the KQED Live Events team, my co-producers, Joanne, Semaye, and our sponsors and food bloggers as well for bringing us all together for today's event. Y para terminar, le agradezco a nuestro equipo técnico, el equipo de eventos en vivo de KQED, mis colaboradoras Joanne y Semaye, y además a nuestros patrocinadores y los bloggers de comida que nos apoyaron a realizar este evento. Y a ustedes, como les dije, nuestra audiencia por el cariño y la conversación muy interesante que nos dieron hoy. Thank you all, our audience, and yes, our audience at home, nuestra audiencia en casa, because this is also a live stream event. Este evento se está dando en vivo a través del internet, entonces los que están viendo en casa también les agradezco de todo corazón. So please, I hope that we're able to, those of us physically present here, go home tonight con algo calientito en el estómago, that we can go home with something warm and yummy in our bellies. y también a Víctor, te agradezco mucho ahí. I thank you so much for just sharing, not just your cuisine, tu cocina con nosotros, pero también tu vida, tu perspectiva y tu futuro, your life, your perspective and your future.
No,
Gracias, Víctor. Un aplauso por Víctor, por favor. Applause. No, gracias a ti, hermano. No, pues, o sea, vale la pena. All right. Bueno, so, all right. I think that we can, if you'd like, ¿todavía hay hallacas allá afuera? Are there still hallacas?
Yo cuando vi, había unas. Espero que sí.
All right, there's still some hallacas outside if y'all want to. If you want to save me one, I don't mind. Thank you so much again. Please, the whole roster of future KQED events is available at kqed.org/live. And you can also follow KQED En Espanol on Instagram to find out more of KQED En Espanol's programming. That's KQED En Espanol. And on Instagram, Arepas
en Bici y Chef Aguilera.
All right. Ya saben dónde está. You know where he is. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.